Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. This is Chanda Chilukya broadcasting live from Ontario, Canada. Of course, today I'm joined by our very own media director, Mark Sumue, and our friend from Zambia, Mr. Simukonde. And we're here to discuss, the pertinent issues that, of course, have been lingering in everybody in the diaspora's mind concerning Q7. It's been a hot topic, a topic of debate, and a lot of questions have been raised, and very few answers, very conflicting answers. And some people are saying it's unconstitutional. Some people are saying, there's nothing unconstitutional about it. And of course, we have, somebody from the UPND member family that can break it down and explain to the diaspora so that we all learn or get something out of this and get a clear picture and understanding of this. Mark, thank you very much for joining us, today. Taking away from your busy schedule. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, the elephant in the room is, of course, the Bill 7 itself. The process, okay? Everybody has a big question on the process. Of course, there was, the initial stages, and then, people raised questions to say there wasn't a consultative process. And of course, it was withdrawn. Now it was brought back, and everybody's saying, "Well, why is it being brought back?" But after being brought back, of course, we saw there was a committee formed and consultations were being done. And then we hear the NGOCC, some members of LAS, were trying to protest, some Catholic priests. What's really going on? Like, Mark, if you can just break it down for us so that we understand the dynamics of this whole process.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chilufya. To start with, I should mention to all of you there that the Constitution of Zambia is the supreme law of the land. It is the supreme law of the land. In other words, it is the one that gives birth to all institutions, including state organs. I should further indicate that pursuant to Article 1(3) of the Constitution of Zambia, the Constitution binds all persons in Zambia, state organs, and state institutions. What it means is that it is the one that gives birth to them, and the manner in which they have to operate is prescribed by the same Constitution. I should quickly indicate, colleagues, that legislative powers, you may write down those articles I'm making reference to, so that
Mm-hmm,
at your own time when you download, you'll
mm-hmm,
be, making reference to them. Legislative powers are vested in Parliament as provided for under Article 62 of the Constitution of Zambia. In other words, the power to make laws is a preserve of the National Assembly, Parliament. Then this legislative power is derived from the people under Article 61. So the two articles follow each other. The legislative power is derived from the people who practice or exercise the power through what we may refer to as representative democracy in Zambia. People elect others to undertake legislative processes or make laws for them. So we are using representative democracy. This is why all Zambians during the National Assembly do not gather in one place to make laws. Instead, they simply send people to go and gather on their behalf, and they would call it National Assembly. Why it is a nation, not the every national assembles there, but representatives. Now, having said that, The Constitution of Zambia, under Article 79, provides for the manner in which it can be altered or amended. What does Article 79 provide? Maybe making reference to it would help us as well. Before I get into the details of perhaps looking at how the reaction has been, I thought it would be important for us to lay a foundation so that
Yeah.
we know the point of departure insofar as legislation in Zambia is concerned.
Mhm.
Article 79 of the Constitution of Zambia provides for alteration of the Constitution, which will require two things: an amendment by addition or to repeal. To repeal is to cancel. To amend, you can alter or you can add so that the meaning changes based on what you want to achieve. Now, the process which should be undertaken is also contained in Article 79. How the select committee is put in place. The first reading, when the Chief Justice introduces the bill, then the select committee is put in place where submissions are made to the select committee. They will now punch holes. Stakeholders will make presentations. After the select committee, the document goes back to into the House for the second reading, which is the most crucial, where voting now takes place so that we can get to the third reading. Now, what is the issue about? First of all, we need to confront the content. I hope I have sufficient time to maybe try to quickly unpack the content and also zero in the content of Bill 10 so that we can draw a line of differences between Bill 10 and this
Bill
particular
said,
bill that is
yeah.
under consideration.
Because that's been
Now,
another question, Mark. The other question has been Bill 7 is the same as Bill 10. That's what the story is out there. So
so
yeah, of
now
course
I
we
want
got
to
to, we
speak
got
to
to
the
reach it. We got to go there. But yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
so I want to speak to the spirit of Bill 10.
Mm,
In the first place, at face value, Bill 10 required about 117 amendments. For your record, it was
mm,
almost an overhaul of the Constitution. What were the major highlights in Bill 10? Number one, in the preamble of our Constitution, it is said that Zambia shall be a multi-religious, shall be a Christian nation, while holding its position or allowing others as a multi-religious state. In other words, we have Christians, we have Muslims, we have Hindus, we have many more religions.
mm,
So they wanted to remove, using Bill 10, to remove
mhm.
the word mount religious and replace it with the Christian.
Christian.
In other words, yes. So once we remove mount religious, it was going to be a direct attack on the fundamental rights and freedoms of worship for citizens. Because Zambia is not a theocracy.
Mm,
Then, secondly, we were opposed to that particular proposal in Bill 10 because even within the Christian community, if we were to run the country based on Christian ideology, we have fragmentation of interpretations of the Bible within the Christian community. The second thing they wanted to do in Bill 10 was that they would propose that Article 8, which provides for values and morals, national values and morals,
mm,
it was their considered view that they amend this particular article so that they could insert the word Christian morality. Now, we were again opposed to this because we don't have a collectively agreed upon within the Christian circles, agreed upon definition of morality. For some churches, morality has to do with dressing.
mm,
Others, women cannot go into the church without covering their head.
yes,
For
yes.
some people, they even allowed to drink a bit of alcohol. For some of them, you should never even taste alcohol and should never come close to you. So with
mm,
that kind of fragmentation in terms of understanding the Bible, we were of the view that inclusion of such a clause or such a word was going to create problems. The next thing that was in Bill 10 was that they wanted to revisit the 50% plus one by removing a second ballot when there is a deadlock, when none of the candidates have garnered 50% plus one. They wanted to remove, because right now, when all the presidential candidates fail to get 50% plus one, there is supposed to be a rerun. So what they wanted to do is using Bill 10, they wanted to remove a clause for a rerun. And instead, once there's a deadlock, they proposed that there should be a coalition government. The next thing that was proposed in Bill 10 was that they wanted to abolish the commissions, Teaching Service Commission, Public Service Commission. We were opposed to that proposal because we believe that these provide an oversight role on the government, and it was going to give the president unfettered power at a time we're supposed to reduce the presidential powers. Then the other thing that they wanted to deal with was that they wanted to bring back deputy ministers' positions using Bill 10. Further to that, they wanted to bring in a clause that ministers must remain in office up to the election time after dissolution of parliament. We were opposed to all those things because we thought that there was going to be abuse of public resources, and then the level playing field was not going to be achieved. Then the next thing that they wanted to introduce was that currently it is required that the Constitution of Zambia is the one which prescribes the number of judges that sit at the Constitutional Court. Using Bill 10, they wanted to relegate such powers to the National Assembly, removing it from the Constitution. And yet the organs of the state lie on an equal footing, or what we call in law pari passu. So we were opposed to such kind of proposals. The other thing that they wanted to do in Bill 10 was that we have the House of Chiefs Bachirufia.
mm,
The chairmanship to the position of the House of Chiefs, that one,
mhm,
the chairmanship, to rise to the chairmanship
mm,
is rotational currently in the constitution. So they wanted to remove the rotational system and then subject chiefs to open elections the way we do for politicians.
mm,
We
mm,
were opposed to that kind of thinking. And
mhm,
then currently, when a public servant or a civil servant retires, the law requires that they are retained on the payroll until such a time that their dues are ready. They wanted to scrap off that provision, meaning we were going to go back over 30 years backward, where people could retire, die without getting anything.
anything. Yeah.
Now, there were a lot of things that were wrong in that document. And these I have highlighted are not found in Bill 7.
Mm.
All of them,
How
except
many
there was
articles were in Bill
delimitation,
10?
except there was
Mm,
delimitation and what
mm,
they were calling proportional representation. But here is the difference.
mm.
And now I want to get to Bill 7.
Okay.
What are the things in Bill 7? Number one, I think I got Bill 7 somewhere. Let me see if I can. Yes, here it is. There are 13 issues that we need to deal with in Bill 7. Number
Okay.
one,
Mm,
the idea of increasing the number of members of parliament. Now, not that the constitution says there shall be 156 constituencies. Now, since delimitation under Article 58 of the Constitution
mhm,
is supposed to be undertaken in a period by ECZ not beyond 10 years, this is the process of consultation which started in 2019 by the PF themselves
mhm,
using the ECZ. You remember at some point in Zambezi East there, when people were throwing chairs at each other, it
mhm,
was because it was an engagement process that started then. Now, ECZ in the constitution is mandated to collect the views. After they've collected these views, the only time that you are going to know how many constituencies will be delimited is after you have amended the constitution. ECZ cannot publish the number of constituencies to be delimited because they don't know how many seats you are adding.
Okay.
Do you get that point?
Say that again.
They cannot publish the number of seats to be created because they don't know how many seats will be included in the constitution. So the
Okay.
first thing that takes place is that Parliament must first of all enact the law. Then ECZ now will publish out of all the submissions they collected. They
Mm-hmm.
will now shortlist based on the number of seats that have been increased in the constitution. So what our colleagues have been trying to do is like climbing the tree by starting from the top.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, they want ECZ to publish. There is no law that compels ECZ to publish because ECZ is merely a facilitator
Mm-hmm.
and it does the delimitation and everything. And they are guided by the Constitution under Article 59, where
Mm-hmm.
there's to take into consideration the following that I'm going to highlight. Let me get to quickly to the Constitution. These are the things that guide the ECZ. They are not guided by opinions of people. They are guided by the following. And the Constitution says in Article 59, the Electoral Commission shall, in delimiting the boundaries of the constituencies and wards, A, take into account the history, diversity, and cohesiveness of the constituency or ward. Remember that Zambia is a multilingual society. We have a multiplicity of tribes. And when you are doing delimitation, these are some of the things historically that you need to take into consideration. In some cases, the moment you do delimitation, there will be war because then boundaries of chiefdoms will take effect. So there are
Mm-hmm.
all those factors that should be looked at.
Mm-hmm.
B, have regard to population density, trends, and projections. For example, the rate at which the population grows in different parts of the country is different. So, in doing delimitation, they'll take that into consideration. The trend, how it has been over the years. For example, there are certain provinces that grow in terms of population at a very high rate. Now,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that delimitation is conducted in intervals, okay, of
Yeah.
not more than 10 years. It means this 10 years is aligned to the census because census is conducted within a decade, meaning
Yeah.
every after a decade, we must review the population.
Yes.
C, ensure that the number of inhabitants in each constituency or ward is reasonable, taking into account the means of communication and geographical features. Now, in other ways, when you are going to do delimitation, you not just wake up and say this place is vast. You have to consider what means of communication they use. Transportation, it also includes the language. Because by delimiting a particular area, you can completely cut it off from the map. The next point is ensure ensure that constituencies and wards are wholly within districts. Meaning you should never come up with a constituency that is outside the district. E. Seek to achieve an approximate quality of constituency and ward population, subject to the need to ensure adequate representation for urban and sparsely populated areas. Period. So these are guidelines for doing delimitation. They are not a matter of an opinion, they are a matter of size, guided by the Zamstats and also submissions from the people.
Okay.
Then the job is done. Now, you may recall that under Michael Sata, he had to start from the top of the tree. He went and made pronouncements of districts, declared districts, subdivided provinces. After he did that, that's when he went to parliament. Luckily, because it was the right thing to divide certain places, parliament, through the arrogance of numbers, had to pass that particular law. And here we are. We have Muchinga, which was born. We have
Yes.
districts that were new. And have you ever asked whether the SATA consulted anybody? He just made the pronouncement.
No,
And
there
those
was no
pronouncements were
confrontation.
informed. Those pronouncements were informed by the report from the ECZ. Now, because delimitation is a constitutional issue, this is why it must be subjected to national debates. At what point is it subjected? It is at the committee stage. That's where people start making submissions. Now, let me zero in. I just wanted to speak to delimitation. That's the first item. Quickly,
Mm,
the second one is to revise the electoral system. As you know that in our electoral system, we have the following. Number one, some people go into parliament by nomination by the president. Number two, some go into parliament as independent MPs. They are not sponsored by the party. Number three, others go to parliament through the first past the post, where they go into an open contest. Now, if we are to align ourselves to the African Union protocols on inclusivity of youths and women, also the UN, and ensure that we domesticate these international conventions, the time is now. Which other countries have done what we are trying to do and it has worked? It's Morocco, it is Kenya, it is Rwanda, it is South Africa. Now, the debate our colleagues are advancing that the idea of pushing in proportional representation through affirmative action will stifle our democracy is not correct. Because there are different types of democracies. I'll give you an example of South Africa. In South Africa, where they have a mixed member system,
mm,
you don't vote for members of parliament, you vote for the party. And then the party is the one that recommends who should be an MP. So what we have done is to simply pick what South Africa is using and codify it with an open contest where people vote for MPs. So we use the South African system to push in people through affirmative action. In South Africa, that is a type of democracy. So it is appalling to hear a person who has been to school here today in Zambia to say that you are killing our democracy. What do they mean?
mm, mm, mm,
The next point that I want to bring out before I forget about it, because I don't know how long this can be sustained in terms of transmission. Before I forget it, that
no, we got enough time,
look,
Mark. We got enough time.
okay, look,
Mm,
the the constitution on delimitation. Delimitation is statute bound. What do we mean? You cannot decide otherwise as a matter of opinion that we don't want delimitation. It must take place in a period not beyond 10 years. So, what are the consequences of us failing to amend this constitution so that delimitation goes through? The consequences are that once we enact, we succeed to amend now, that delimitation will only come into effect in it after 2026 elections. I want to repeat my point. Once we amend the constitution now and delimitation succeeds,
mm,
it will only come into effect after 2020, in 2026, after 2026 elections.
okay.
If we do not succeed, because this is the last sitting,
Mm-hmm.
and then we amend the constitution after 2026, the
6. Mm-hmm.
consequences are that delimitation will only come into effect after 2031 because it cannot be effected in the
Oh.
same parliament because there is no provision for
Mm,
delimitation by elections.
mm. So
Now,
that's where
if
the
we
10
do
year,
that,
10 year comes in. The
i-
10 year
if
thing
we
comes in. Mm,
exactly, if we do that, we will have violated the constitution from the last time we conducted delimitation. So, what are we going to do to the violation? And who will have violated the constitution?
mm,
That is a constitutional crisis, which we can avoid because we still have the constitutional mandate for parliament to legislate. So, delimitation is not a choice, it is a constitutional matter, which is, in fact, statute bound. We have no option into it.
mhm, mhm,
We are tied. The next point I want to raise, which is coming out of Bill 7,
mm,
is the issue relating to Article 52. Article 52(6) requires that where you file in nominations, then one person dies or resigns, then the ECZ shall call for fresh nominations within that period, 90 days period. Fresh nominations. Now, the challenge we have is that there was a judgment in the case of Isaac Mwanza.
Mhm.
In that judgment, everything else changed about this particular provision in the constitution. It simply means because the judgment does not state how many times an individual can withdraw after filing in of nominations, it means we shall go in August next year for elections. After someone has filed in nominations, before the elections, they withdraw. It means elections will not take place. For example, even at presidential level and parliamentary level and constituency level, at the council chairperson level. That's the implication of the Isaac Mwanza case. Now, when that happens, it means you have to go for elections within 90 days. Now, because the judgment does not state how, does not limit the number of times a candidate can withdraw their nomination or resign. This is why the president once said this constitution now in its state can make someone remain a perpetual president. Because during that time of withdrawing, President
Mhm.
HH still remains president of the Republic of Zambia.
Mhm.
And where peace is threatened, he can reconvene the National Assembly of members, not these ones that have been elected, but the old National Assembly. Because for these ones to be active to legislate, they must be sworn in by the speaker.
Mm, mm.
And they cannot be sworn in because there are no cabinet ministers.
Yeah.
They cannot be sworn in. Can be no sitting in parliament because there is no cabinet. There are no cabinet ministers. Remember, motions they would come from for all matters that come before the court are usually from the executive in terms of not motions, but any bill. You cannot pass the budget, for example. It can only be passed by the finance minister who is not there. Meanwhile, you continue withdrawing your nominations. Have you seen the absurdity that we have found ourselves in?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this
So,
is what those people that
mm,
know that they have no political stamina in 2026 would want to see. That's why they are pushing. It's a matter of life and death that the constitution should remain the way it is because they see an opportunity of frustrating the UPND.
mm, mm. Now, Mark, while you're on that, what was the ruling when it came to Bill 7? Because what's out there, what the opposition is parroting is that
Now I'll
it
deal with
it,
it.
it is unconstitutional. It was
I'll deal with
declared, or
it.
it was the judgment was said that it was unconstitutional. How true is
Now
that?
I'll no. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. Let me just get
Uh-huh.
I had a summary of I got a summary of the summary of the ruling. Now, what was the summary of the ruling? Just a minute, so that we speak to those issues which our colleagues are raising, whether true or false.
Mm.
Okay. Now, these things that our friends are raising, trying to blackmail citizens. Just a minute. I'm going to the judgment so that you see in the Munia, Zulu, and the Celestina case. That's the one you're making reference to.
Yes,
So I want
yes,
to quickly get to that one so that we look at what the court said in
yeah.
relation to this one.
So that one, yes, yeah. But I mean, everybody's,
Yeah. So
they're up in arms. They're saying, "Oh, look, they're trying to bring back something that was already been declared as unconstitutional by the
no,
courts."
there was no such a pronouncement. That's why I'm trying to get to this one.
Yeah,
There was no
you
such
know.
a
So,
pronouncement.
so now people are asking questions to say, "Okay, Now, why would they push something that's unconstitutional? Why would they,
Now,
bring
now
back
listen to
something?
this.
Uh-huh.
Now, in the this is the judgment I'm reading to you now.
Okay.
So the court made the following ruling that the constitution is a document of the people of Zambia. That's need for wide consultation. Number one. Number
Mhm.
two, that the state should act as facilitators. I want you to pay attention to the second one.
Mm.
That the state should act as facilitators and that proposals may proceed under Article 79 only after broad consultation. Do you get the point?
Yes.
In other words,
After the
in
consultation.
the second one, the court did not nullify the bill before the floor of parliament. In the first place, the court doesn't have power to, to nullify a bill that is already on the floor of parliament. Three,
Mm.
that an independent technical committee be put in place for drafting and coordinating. Four, that it is important that the process that seeks to do delimitation represents express wishes of the people. Remember that I talked about the guidelines.
Mm.
Number five, that the text or letter and ultimately the spirit of the constitution must come from the people. What is the spirit of the constitution? It is representative democracy, where you believe that the aspirations of the people have been met. Now,
Mm.
this is the end of the judgment, Vachirufia. There
Mm.
is nowhere from what I have read where the court said Bill 7 has been set aside.
Yeah, according to what you've
So what?
read, it's pretty much clear.
Yes, and I'm going to share with you the next document they found in when they realized that the bill was reactivated. Remember, the bill has not been taken back to court. I mean, to parliament.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It has just been reintroduced. The bill has not withdrawn. It was deferred. Now, a
Fair.
bill has a lifespan of 6 months. So, in terms of expiration, the bill should have expired on the 25th of this month.
Okay.
So once it is reinstated, it has been opened. It can even go beyond 25th because it has already been reinstated.
Instated.
You can debate up to beyond the 25th. 25th.
So it's got
So
another
now,
six, got another 6 months
now,
lifespan.
now, remember that. Yes, remember
Mm.
that the bill was deferred before the judgment of the Constitutional Court.
Mhm.
So when the Constitutional Court was delivering the judgment, the bill was already deferred.
Mhm.
And the technical committee cannot be an independent technical committee is only appointed by the president under the Inquiries Act.
Mhm.
LAS cannot appoint, OASIS cannot appoint. The
Mm.
law only allows the president to appoint an inquiries committee, and it's only the president who can swear them in. LAS was part of the meeting that we had at State House, and they made submissions. LAS submitted 6 names to be included in the technical committee. They are the ones who proposed that the bill be deferred so that we allow for a small technical committee to fill in the gaps that they were raising,
Mm.
particularly on proportional representation. The president listened, not knowing he was being blackmailed. When we deferred and now we're about to reintroduce, they rushed to court claiming that that bill was nullified by the court.
Mm.
From what I've read to you, there is nowhere where the court said that. I'm sure you followed deliberations in the parliament. Even the speaker said the same thing.
Yes.
There is nowhere in the judgment. So what did they do? They went back to stop the process to court. I'll
Mm.
share with you the document. When they went back, they outlined the same judgment in the Munia Zulu I've read to you, and I'll share with you a document
Mhm.
which will share with everybody at the with the, in the diaspora. Guess what happened
Mm.
after they argued on the same basis that these people are reactivating a dead bill? It was thrown out. So the institutions that went to court include the Law Association of Zambia,
Zambia.
NGOCC,
Mm.
ZCCB, EFZ, CCZ, LCK Freedom Foundation Limited. These are the ones that went as petitioners. It was dismissed for lacking merit because they were going to court to make a prayer on a matter whose report was not known yet. How did they know?
Mm.
They were shocked only to hear that we have so far gotten over 11,800. This is the highest number in a short space. The rest were taking 11, 3 years, 2 years to collect those views.
mm,
Now, when you say collecting views, they can even be 1,000.
mm, mm,
What is important is that you have citizens that are able to stand as witnesses that they agreed that the constitution must be amended.
mm.
Remember, the population of Zambia is over 20 million, but the people who are registered as voters are only about 6 point something million. So, what has happened now is that they went to seek the same some relief on a matter that was thrown out. One of them was that the technical committee was constituted illegally. How can it be constituted legally when the president has powers under the Inquiries Act? The same powers that Michael Sata exercised to put up a technical committee. Sata never even went around the country. All he did was to put up a technical committee,
Mm,
and he did not get views from the people. He said, we are going to use the Mungomba CRC as a basis. So they went ahead and drafted the constitution. After drafting it, they started taking it around the country.
yeah.
The same process that we are doing.
So, Mark, just to make it more engaging, let's allow our members here to maybe they might have certain questions that they want to get from answers that we want to get from you. Let's involve our members. We got Vakalinda, we got Wasumkonde, we got Dr. Danny. Um, Vakalinda, since you're the only lady here, would you like? Do you have a specific question on where all this Bill 7 stands? That Mark can tackle.
I think calendar is not here.
Oh, she's not there. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So yeah, then Dr. Danny, you can go ahead.
All right. The 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 what I'm hearing from Mark is music to my ears. I love it. I think this is what the opposition need to be. I think they need to be educated, because when you talk to them about these things, most of them are just they talk without facts, I think. And I think we need to educate them more. I know Mark has been on radio, different radio stations and all that. But I think the way you are explaining it, what's going on and all that type of, if the opposition can be educated, I think that's, yeah, it makes more sense. It makes sense. We are following the rules. We are following what's supposed to be done. And there's nothing wrong with what we're doing. And we just, actually, we're doing it better than the previous amendments. So yeah, I just want him to continue. I think let Mark Simue continue so that we learn more. This is good. This is good. This is a good lecture.
Yeah, okay,
That's
okay,
all I
Oh,
can say. Yeah.
okay. Mark, you've been appointed as our new lecturer. So go ahead.
well, that's quite interesting. Yes. So basically, we are doing programs, and once I've featured on a number of media houses, I'm sure you've seen our team in the media team are summarizing my conversations, and we are sending them everywhere so that our people in other provinces are able to tap into those specific issues that we are raising and populate them. That's what we are doing. And yesterday we met at State House. We were meeting members of parliament. We had a very interesting conversation. Now, I should also further mention that um, we 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 want to also ensure that we get our colleagues that are able to explain in local languages in many of these provinces after we've given them information in a more simplistic way so that they're
Mm,
able to tell the people. Now,
yeah, yeah.
the other things that are coming out in this particular bill has to do with the harmonization of the term of parliament and that of the council to achieve a 5-year term. You
Mm,
may realize that from the time we introduced a clause that allow for the election of council chairpersons and mayors, we still leave these people with mid elections and not 5-year term. So the idea here for council chairperson and mayors is that they must be aligned to have a full term of 5 years. There's nothing harmful since they are elected officials by the same electorates who elect them in a general election. And the other thing that we intend to bring out in this particular aspect is that members of parliament were shortchanged. because the constitution says a term is equal to 5 years, but parliament dissolves before the expiration of 5 years.
Mm,
So what this particular bill seeks to do is that members of parliament will remain on the payroll up to the expiration of 5 years.
mhm,
In other words, they will only dissolve a day before the elections. They do not use public resources, but they are getting the opportunities based on the constitutional provisions of what a term is. During this period, the cabinet ministers will have dissolved, they will have vacated office. So during this period, there will be no parliamentary business, meaning there is nothing to fear. They have no comparative advantage. It's an issue of trying to cure what has been seen as a mischief arising from what constitutes a term versus the number of years these people serve. The next thing that is coming out is the issue relating to the composition of the council to include members of parliament. It used to be like that because what has happened now is that when people go for polls, they elect people as members of parliament to represent them in parliament, which people have no role in the local authorities, which are more closer to the people who are the electorates. We were of the view that government simply means legislature, judiciary, and executive put together. Government is not executive. It is a concoction of all the organs of the state. And these, at some point, they interweave without much challenges, knowing that these are elected by the constituencies. They need to have a say, they need to be torch bearers and not relegate them to mere legislatures. Then even their being in parliament must change if we want them to be legislatures. Then people should not elect them. We should justify the idea that they should be coming from political parties. Because what's the point of electing people to go and represent you? And yet those people have nothing to do with what happens at the local authority. The principle of having members of parliament, the principle of having members of parliament who are not elected applies to South Africa.
yeah.
Then you cannot hold an MP accountable for what is happening at local level because they are recommended by the party. You can now deal with the municipalities or the local government. So our system is a bit different from that of South Africa. The very fact that people elect these members of parliament means they must have a role to play in terms of advocacy on whatever goes on at the local level. Now you have absentee members of parliament who go in parliament and they don't know what goes on in the council because they are not part of the council. So we are reverting to our status quo in this particular proposal. Then the
Mhm,
next one, which was being proposed, is that of the attorney general. The idea is that when parliament dissolves
mhm, mhm.
and
Yeah,
after the
that one. Yeah.
after the general election,
Mm,
usually the attorney general and the solicitor general were dissolving together with the president. Meanwhile, the attorney general has been sued and the court system is still running. So we thought there was a gap.
mhm, mhm,
So, being civil servants and the officers of the court, they must continue functioning until the next attorney general is appointed. That's what we have done. That is the proposal. The next one
mhm,
is on the tenure of office. I mean, the not tenure of office, but the qualification for one to be permanent secretary of 10 years. The constitution has not provided for remedy, assuming that you don't find one who is qualified. Because a long time ago, when we had this particular provision, permanent secretaries used to rise to those positions hierarchically.
mhm.
Today, you can appoint even a garden boy who has a grade 12 certificate as PS.
Mm,
That's how the
mm.
constitution is now.
Oh, okay.
Meaning, meaning to get a qualification of 10 years for from a person whose appointment is at the mercy of an individual who is the president. Doesn't make sense. Unless citizens have a choice to serve for 10 years.
Okay. So while you're still on
So
that one,
now,
mhm,
yes.
go ahead. Oh, well, I think one of our members here has a question. I think wants to bring Mr. Wasimu Konda. You've got a question. What question do you have for Buck?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Small,
Good
and
evening, Wasimukonda.
everyone. I think, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think for me, I'm in support of Bill 7, and I think the challenge that we're having to these opposition leaders, I think they are taking advantages of people. I think. Maybe the lack of better term, let me say, lack of understanding and a level of education. So they are utilizing that, but I think everything in Bill 7 is progressive. So now, me, I have a question. I think Mr. Mike maybe was explaining on the cabinet secretary to the cabinet. So
Yes.
I think we have two types. We have career and appointed. So now I don't know. Maybe I want to get a clarity. In a case, maybe if you reduce it, and then we tend maybe to appoint someone maybe from a political part. In a case, maybe we have a political part. Maybe they appoint the someone from the political part. Is it not going to be like politicize of that position? Maybe you can make clarity on that one. Thank you.
Can I
Thank
have
you.
a rider on that one? Can I have a rider? Sorry to join
Yes,
you
please.
abruptly.
Now you're welcome.
Go ahead, Mr. Macha.
Yes, sir. Mark, good evening.
Good evening, please.
I'm Macha, a very close friend to Benson Chove. With Gere and Nampundu, we've
Oh,
met once or
beautiful.
three times in Lusaka. You're good?
Oh, great.
I'm happy to
Fantastic.
have you here.
Yeah.
You
Thank
see,
you.
your contribution on the Attorney General, Secretary of Cabinet, those sensitive government positions, it's not just about incumbency, it's also about transitioning. How do you
Correct.
transition to the next government? There's professionalism
Mm-hmm.
involved in those things. There's oath of secrecy. How do you just
Yes.
not hand over an office to the one who has been
Yes.
appointed?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just logical. We are talking of
Correct.
permanent secretary being 10 years at least. When one was
Yes.
secretary to cabinet, he could have identified potential. No, there's a there's hierarchy and professionalism. That permanent secretary the secretary to cabinet could have seen potential in somebody
Mm-hmm.
who was
Yes.
non-partisan but was saving the interest. Why not hand over such names to the incoming? Say, this is where I
Yes.
left. A handover note
Yes.
is very important.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
yield.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you very much for the brilliant contribution, Macha and Simukonda. Now, you see, the whole trajectory of professionalism under the position of the PS has changed using the constitution that we have. That is why we are saying you just need a grade 12 certificate. You can have a grade 12 certificate and become PS. You can be a musician and become PS.
Mm.
As you are seeing us even reshuffling permanent secretaries.
Okay,
So the
Mark,
constitution,
Mark, on that
yes, I'm
one,
coming.
on that one, I think there was one former PS that said, a PS is more like you are a director, and minimum qualification should be a
Mm,
degree.
mm,
Minimum, it should be a degree. Now, if you're telling me that
mm,
grade 12 certificate is what is required to become
mm.
permanent secretary, well, are you saying that's what it is in the constitution now, or maybe it's
Now I'm trying to get to, yes, I'm trying to get to
okay?
the
Go ahead.
provision.
Okay.
so that
I can help you get to the yes.
yeah,
I can help you get to the yes.
yes,
You know,
yes.
these positions, it's about
Now,
having an
um,
influence, having confidence.
mhm.
Confidence.
Master.
Yes. I'm helping him get to that level
No,
where
no.
he's supposed to answer the question.
Let him
now,
finish, and then you can add
Okay.
on.
uh,
Let him
Okay.
finish, and
Okay.
then you
Okay.
can add on.
now,
Yeah, you
now,
can add on.
now, listen to this. So the provision for permanent secretaries is under Article 184.
Hmm?
I want to read. I want to read.
Okay.
So Article 184 1 provides the president shall, on the advice of the Civil Service Commission,
Mm-hmm.
advice, appoint a
Okay.
permanent secretary for a province,
Mm-hmm.
ministry, or department. All of them aligned in the same category. A permanent secretary shall A carry out or cause to be carried out the portfolios of the provincial administration, ministry, or department. B advise the minister or provincial minister with respect to the activities, projects, and programs of the province, ministry, or department. So now they have been combined now in this constitution we are using. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you are a provincial minister, where you are minister of education. They are being lined up together. C, cause to implement the policies of government and decision of cabinet. D, be responsible and accountable for the proper financial management and expenditure of public monies appropriated to the province, ministry, or department. And E, be responsible and accountable for the management of human resources in the provincial secretary, ministry, or department. Now, the Constitution of Zambia has not taken into consideration the qualifications, but instead they have been relegated to delegated or subsidiary legislation, where now, in terms of the Civil Service Commission or Public Service Commission, when identify under the Public Service Commission Act, when identifying permanent secretaries, they are allowed to look if they are looking for specific qualifications of an individual who is qualified. So, number one, it is no longer hierarchically. They can get a person who is a junior as long as they are looking for a specific skill. Like someone mentioned that it's not an issue of incumbency. It is also an issue of what you believe in. The true cream of permanent secretaries was damaged the moment we started allowing a situation where you can appoint a pastor as a PS in a ministry. Not undermining pastors, but I'm basically making reference to specialization. Today, as we are speaking, you are seeing us moving permanent secretaries from one ministry to the other. It never used to happen. At a time, people were rising hierarchically because of specialization. So now we have come to a point, colleagues, where the issue of specialization may not even matter. Sometimes what may matter is loyalty and sincerity, discipline. Because most of the permanent secretaries, ideally, are supposed to be controlling officers.
Hmm.
This is why in Bill 10, I want you to understand. This is
Hmm.
why in Bill 10, PF proposed, because of those anomalies that I've highlighted, they
Hmm.
proposed that permanent secretaries should not be appearing before the Public Accounts Committee. I'm sure you remember.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was as a result of the changes that took place, where there was no regard for specialization. It's only special ministries which have remained being taken care of. But even there, it's a problem. Today, previously, you could have a minister of justice needed to be a lawyer, not anymore. The minister of certain ministries like health needed to be a medical doctor, not anymore. Those are the changes that have been undertaken.
Hmm.
So with those changes, you have a situation where we can have the minister Kasune, who is not a lawyer, as minister of justice.
Justice.
You now have permanent secretaries being moved. I'm sure you've heard about the movements.
Yes.
We get one permanent secretary moved from one ministry where they are specialized. They are taken to another ministry where they are not specialized.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with those changes affecting us, we are saying, is it necessary to have 10 years experience? If you have that 10 years of experience, in which field or discipline?
Mhm.
Uh, the,
Given the
the,
circumstances we have been confronted with now, and how the position of the PS has become, where you can be an engineer and be PS in the
uh-huh.
Ministry of Health.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where does that place you?
Mm.
The square peg in a round
So
hole.
now, this is where we are saying again. If you look back, if you are to get a PS, because now that position is now political, it was supposed to be properly civil servant. If you are
Mhm.
to get a PS who is 10 years experienced, whether you like it or not, you have to get a PS who served under a different government.
Okay.
And if you want to overlook the PF, you don't want permanent secretaries that served
Mhm.
under the previous government.
Mm.
You go beyond the PF. Most of those people
Mm.
are moving with walking sticks. Circumstances have changed.
Yeah.
So now here is the constitutional crisis and the fear. What happens if you don't find one who has 10 years experience?
Mm.
Even if you
Mm.
found him, but you don't think that that is the type of a person you need as secretary to the cabinet, because that is a very sensitive position. Secretary to the cabinet, someone needs to be very educated.
Mm.
They need to have a certain level of understanding. To be a secretary to the president chairing the cabinet, someone should not be just they should not be ordinary. You should have asked why we have kept Kangwa,
Yeah, yeah.
why we have Kalabo. It's because we have very
Uh-huh.
few people that are qualified.
Mm.
If you were asked questions, you may have people that have served for 10 years, but do they have the quality needed for the position of the secretary to the cabinet?
Mm.
Because it's one thing to have a minimum of 10 years experience. It is another to be competent for that position.
Mm.
So
Okay.
then that
Okay.
gives you a serious situation where you may end up in a crisis. So what is the fallback in the constitution? We reduce
Mm.
to 5 years. Does it create any problem? No, it doesn't. If someone is educated, like Bachirufia, he's informed, he has a PhD, he has a
Hey,
degree, he's able to
he's
articulate issues, he can
a
take
learned
minutes.
colleague.
Exactly.
Amen.
Learned colleague.
Amen. Amen.
Do you
Amen.
need Bachilufia surely to go and serve for 10 years for him to come and take notes, my minutes?
Uh,
Is that what we are saying?
mm.
How long does it take for someone to be able to take minutes and
Yeah,
be able
it-
to communicate
mm.
effectively? So now
Mm.
we are trying to get rid of draconian provisions in our education hierarchy
Mm.
so that we become more practical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
So,
that kind of thinking, we found it even when we were employing. Whenever there's
Can
an
I?
advert for jobs, that's what we have gotten rid
Yeah,
of. They would say
can I?
qualifications, they'll put degree. And then the other thing they will say minimum
Uh-huh.
10 years qualifications. We have started
yes.
scrapping off those
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Just
That was so weird.
just an
Yes,
addition on that one, Mark.
please, you're
You see,
welcome.
you see, when you talk about someone being able to do something, we are attributing that to competence. So
Correct.
I'm a teacher by profession. The new syllabus
Yes.
that has come in now is outcome based. I mean, it's competence
Yes.
based, not outcome. Competence.
Yes.
Those
I like
competences,
that.
those skills are what we need for Zambia to go forward. Yes, education is there, but there's some, what is this term? Mark used this one, uneducated illiterate. We want to avoid that one.
Of
There are
course, the
some
schooled person.
competences there are some competences that we require, and those ones
Mm-hmm.
should be P1 in every appointment made. Remember, UPND
Mm-hmm.
has a manifesto to deliver. They have made
Mm-hmm.
promises. Who is going to lead the ship? Who is going to
Mm-hmm.
save the king? The willing or unwilling?
Mm-hmm.
there has to be those and those willing must have certain competences which they have gained right from school as the curriculum is now. I yield.
Correct.
Okay. So, Mark,
Can I
before we
can
go
I
deep into,
can I
is
come
that
in,
what Danny?
please?
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Danny. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Exciting, exciting. I love our guest today. He's clearing a lot of things, but he's
Mm,
also bringing in a lot of questions that I would like to ask. For
mm,
example, it's unfortunate that we are taking away the professionalism from the PS positions. That's very, very unfortunate. From my point of view, I would love the Ministry of Agriculture, for example, to be run by an agriculturist, the veterinary department to be run by the vet, the Ministry of Health. I think we should not, as Zambians, sit back and say, okay, this thing has been spoiled. We're going to run on this treadmill that has been spoiled. We know the right thing to do. The right thing is to appoint professional PSs to run these departments. So we should not sit back and say, okay, it has been spoiled and we're going to stay like this. No, this is the reason why we're having problems in these ministries. I don't expect somebody who is not a doctor to run the Ministry of Health. They will not understand anything. I'm a veterinarian myself. I don't expect an accountant. I know at one time the PS in my department was a Department of Veterinary Service and Fisheries was an accountant. That's wrong. We should not ride on this and say it's okay. No, please. We can correct this. That's point number one. Point number two, I've read the Bill 7 that says the MPs now are going to be incorporated in the councils. So my question is, the MPs belong to the different wing of the government, and then the councils belong to the executive, I guess. So the MPs are going to be belonging to both executive and legislature part of the government. Is there no conflict of interest there? How are they going to be debating matters that are brought again in parliament when they are the people that made those decisions at council level? So to me, those are the two questions I have. Please, let's remain professional in terms of PSCs. Permanent secretaries are very, very important positions for our country to progress. It's not experimental. If I'm going to put an accountant to run the Ministry of Agriculture, it doesn't make sense. Thank you.
And
Mark, I think
just a
the
ride on that
question
one,
said.
if I may ask, Mark, do we have a shortage
Yes,
of
please.
skills on the Zambian database, especially where labor and certain skills are concerned? Do you have that shortage? Is it written? Is it documented that we don't have a
Uh,
qualified
uh,
veterinarian who has a PhD? He was not even in PF. Okay, even if he was in PF, so what?
mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Now
our
listen
database
to this.
okay? Yes.
Okay. No, I've heard your concerns. Let me first start with a legal question that has been asked by the vet doctor there. Because,
Yes.
yeah, I hear you. But there is no country in the world which has absolute separation of powers, not even the United States of America. So apparently, all democracies are struggling to have an absolute separation of powers. So here is
Okay.
what is happening. Um, Ministers belong to the executive. So have you ever asked what they are doing in parliament?
They are legislating.
Now, yes. So the doctrine of separation of powers requires that when one person belongs to one organ of the state, they should not belong to the other. Their job will be checks and balances. Now, the fear of all democracies, including the USA, is sabotage and collapsing of the government, the entire government. So they believe that certain questions can easily be clarified right on the floor of parliament. So you discover that the roles that they play there will be very clear and different. You find that they will have, for example, in USA, like let me give you an example. In USA, those of you who are in the states, you have what we call a bicameral parliamentary system. In Zambia, we have what we call a unicameral parliamentary system. In a bicameral parliamentary system, you have two houses. You'll have the Congress, maybe you'll have the Senate and all those things. So in a unicameral system, you discover that, like the one we have, one house goes through all the stages up to the final stage of legislating, and then the president assents. In a bicameral system, the upper house will be checking what the lower house will be doing. They may even disagree with the lower house and present something else. Why are they checking? It's because they don't want to completely relinquish their powers to peep through what is the other people are doing when they are making laws. That's why we are saying there is no absolute separation of powers. That is a doctrine that has remained hanging for many years. And there's no country that is willing to take that route, unless you want to crash. But then the point is that the idea of having permanent the MPs at the local level goes with the ideologies of people choosing leaders of their choice. There is no option to representation that we are electing you to represent us on legislative issues, not the road, not the tarmac. And yet, the area where the budget to finance the tarmac is in parliament. So it's a contradiction. So parliament checks the executive by passing the budget. They literally debate the allocation. Number one. Number two, those people that go to appear before the Public Accounts Committee, the mayors and so on, they go to appear before Parliament, and that's how Parliament is checking the executive. But the challenge is you are allowing people to check you. You are
Ramat,
allowing
unmute
people.
yourself. Sorry, Ramat. I think you got there's a background noise there.
Okay.
No, I'm
Just
getting it from there, so I was getting worried.
just
I thought someone is
mute yourself, and then when it's time for you to talk, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
driving. I thought someone is driving. I was getting would help that those people that are not speaking could mute their mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, let me summarize on this particular.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hello. Sorry, Mark. Just unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I think I was trying to mute somebody. Somebody, I think is. Oh yeah, I found it. I think I found the cup. All right, Mark, unmute yourself. I think I muted you by mistake. Just unmute yourself. Hello, Mark. Unmute yourself. Let's see. I think I had muted you. Yeah. All right. Okay. You're good. You're good to go. You can go ahead, Mark. Can you hear us? Hello. Hello, Mark. Hello,
Mark is muted.
Mark.
Okay, as we wait for him,
No. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead as we wait for you.
you know, when you talk about a member of parliament being able to articulate issues, what issues is he supposed to talk about? Development.
Mm.
And where is development taking place? In the constituencies where councillors are at work. So why not work hand in hand with the councillors?
Mm.
Two are better than one.
That's true.
If for example, this councillor is, for lack of a better word, unable to articulate an issue, and the MP knows exactly what's happening or what this contractor did not do very well, what legal challenges were there in this contract.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, why can't the two of them work together?
Mm-hmm.
and solve the problem. And they may, I mean, take the elephant out of the room.
That's true.
You need to take the elephant out of the room by just bringing in the MP. Simple. You lose nothing. If it's
Okay,
about costs, is it
okay.
back?
At the moment, the two of them are not working together and they're crashing.
Yes,
So, what will happen when the two of them are told you have the MP, who have more power, the council chair or the MP?
they are going to harmonize. They should just
That is
harmonize.
going to
They,
cause a lot of headaches.
no, harmonization. You can still work out a document where the two are able to work hand in hand. They have specific functions to play. Each one will have to keep their line. Okay, the lane. Yes,
That is
a document.
that is good if that is going to
Yes,
happen like that. Because right
it
now
can. Mhm.
there's no delimitation as to where the MP. There are a lot of problems between councils and MPs right now.
Oh yeah,
Big,
I'm a
big
witness.
problems.
I'm a witness to that one. Ask me what
Big
happened.
problems right now.
Ask
So
me what happened. I'll tell
when
you.
you tell the MP,
That
when you're gonna give MP, you are part of distributing this fund. You're part of the. My goodness, the
oh,
council chair is gonna come hard. No,
listen.
what?
I have
So we
asked
What
my
need to
happened?
a
eyes.
What
document
happened to
first.
Amasa?
Ask my eyes. There was what my eyes saw. I'm saying what my
Yeah,
eyes saw.
it's
What did
There
your
was a
eyes
bad
see?
right now.
there,
It's
there,
What
bad.
did your
there was a
eyes see? Tell us.
there was a police station that was built under CDF funds.
Yeah,
It was completed and it was due for commissioning.
yeah.
The council
Where?
chairperson.
Shibuyenzi.
Ah, you're the one saying it. I don't know, but I'll tell
Okay.
you about this. What my eyes saw. The council chairperson wanted to officially open it so that he could get
Bad.
mileage, political mileage. The
Yeah,
MP was also there, he could get political mileage. The
yeah.
councillor was also there so that he could get political mileage.
It's
That's a
bad.
clutch we're talking about.
Yes.
But
So
if it is made clear, like if a project is opened or it is commissioned, the MP, the councillor, and the mayor, they'll all give their speeches.
and the district commissioner.
You have left him out, but I didn't want to mention him, but he was there. You see, the struggle is real. There's an elephant in the room.
The struggle
Yes.
is real.
I saw
Gentlemen,
Now,
it. I,
we have a question on stage here.
yes.
Mr. Mashi Oshindi. Mashi ya Ushindi. Mashi ya Ushindi is asking, what's the excitement around the 5.2 billion reserve? And what's the excitement? So I think he maybe is trying to figure out why what implications or maybe why is it important for Zambia to increase its reserve to 5.2 billion United States dollars.
I think I can answer that one.
Go ahead.
If I'm getting 1,000 kwacha per month today, and tomorrow my salary is increased to 5,000 kwacha per month, I'll come home and celebrate with my family.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. It means I'm gonna provide the security in terms of financial security for my family is secured. It's simple. We have more money in the pocket. So you can answer that person that please, we have more money in the pocket.
No, he's
If
listening. He's watching. He's
if
watching. He's
they
listening.
yes, if they give you a raise in the salary, it's worth celebrating. That's why we are celebrating. We have more money in our pocket. It's like I have 500 kwacha in my account, and now today I go in my account, I've got 20,000 kwacha. Hello, I shouldn't be happy. I shouldn't
Mm,
be excited.
mm,
No, I will celebrate.
yeah,
So Zambia has more money in the pocket. That's
yeah.
why. Thank you.
So just to add on what the doctor is saying, Yashi, Vamashi Yashindi. This name is a little bit complicated. So Vamashi, Zambia as it is right now, we're just coming out of the, of course, paying off our Euro bonds and our credit rating going up. And this has not happened by accident. It's because now we now even have money in our reserve, enough money, so that even if partners or people want to borrow us money, they'll say, oh, okay, Mr. Mashi, you've got money in your account. Okay, yes. How much do you have in your account? You got 500, just for example sake, $500. Okay, we can borrow you a 250. Okay, so now instead of you having 500, you're going to have $750, because they are seeing that you got some money in your account and you got some income that's coming in every month. So they're going to base that. So all the creditors around the world are going to see Zambia as a next trading partner because of having those kind of reserves. Instead of the coffers of Zambia at zero, and then you go and ask for money, people question you, how are you going to pay us back? So that's another way of looking at it, the simplest way. And we've got our own PS Vakazia is asking here. He's got a question. So the MP will provide both hide oversight and hide sight of process. Who will hold the other accountable when it comes to parliamentary public accounts committee? This one is a miss. Did you get his question? Hello? Is everybody there or everybody disappeared?
No, I'm here.
Yeah, did you hear what Wakazia was saying?
On the credit ratings.
No, he's asked the question here. It's on the screen. He's saying, I think he's talking about the MPs and who provide the oversight, okay, in the process, who hold the other accountable within when it comes to Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee. You know?
Okay.
So what is the problem in paying the TFM? Yeah, so I think that's I think maybe it's referring to the topic that we were talking about earlier on when it comes to PS. I don't know if you catch his question. I don't really catch it. We say who will, do you catch it?
Yeah, basically he's asking about accountability here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The controlling officer versus accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Who becomes liable for the wrongs that happened in a regime?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're talking about fight against corruption, I think this one is a miss, as he put it. Who will hold the other accountable when it comes to Parliamentary Accounts Committee? Yeah. We just need to rework this. Vachandakazia, he knows what was happening. He was once permanent secretary. Can't you think of what can happen surely? Don't be an armchair critic. Yashani kanshi. If mpatira ngana foyo kupata tamwantemweka. Oh, can you provide the solutions to this one? Mbata manona mkwata then tamlefo kutoafilisha ko. No mbata wala teka shani chalo. Now hapa.
Okay, so it looks like I think Mark must have dropped off. So let's continue with the show, gentlemen. So, of course, we're talking about the reserves. Now, the second part, internal wrangles of the Patriotic Front. I think at this point, I saw the interview that Davis Mwila said. In fact, I heard the audio first, where Davis Mwila was actually accusing KBF to be the causer of the destruction of the Patriotic Front. And then KBF also came up and he gave his own side of the story to say, look, you guys, you expelled me. Okay, and he also raised a lot of accusation towards Davis Wheeler that but Davis Wheeler was actually collecting money from members of parliament to keep their seats. In that tone, like the guy was telling them that so people were paying them money, and then he said that that's led to all these independent guys and all these other Mpundu and all those stuff because they didn't want to pay him money. That's how they went independent. So whether it's true or not, but that's what the audio was saying anyway. So there are wrangles in the Patriotic Front, and Davis Muilas, we finally accepted and considered to say PF is dead. PF is gone.
Can I start?
Go ahead.
I'll borrow the words of the Home Affairs Minister, Jack Mwimbo, who said PF is a Jihunye. Jihunye. In fact, to those that know Tonga very well, that is an insult, a serious insult, in case you didn't know, but it conveys meaning.
Is it? It's
a very serious insult, but it conveys meaning.
Oh.
And it's appropriate. You can use it because you are trying to express, there's some anger in there because you're not happy with what's happening. An essential part of the body is consuming, it's being used to consume itself. The consumption, the annihilation of the PF is happening from a most sensitive part of the body. Understand?
Kumutwe.
Not kumuchira. So, I don't know. Kumutwe. So it's close to that. In Bemba, that's what it means. But in Tonga, don't ask me about that. You should ask who's this? The great thinker.
Oh, Valentine.
Valentine. In fact, you box him and tell him, say, what's the meaning of Jihunye? He will explain to you. But even after this, just let's talk after this. So PF basically is in a self-destruction mode. Who is prophesizing the end of PF? Is it an outsider or an insider?
It's an insider.
It's an insider. So would we say this is caused by the outside forces? He prophesies that if they don't campaign, they'll go to jail. Are they not going in jail now? They lost and they're in jail. He has come out very clear to talk about the ineligibility of Ruvinda. He can't be president because of the parentage clause.
That is a white man.
He's a white man. That one.
I laughed.
I had it in my mind and I wanted to speak about it, but I was fearing Wachanda.
I laughed.
But his reference to the person he mentioned, I won't mention them, the person he mentioned who even said he comes from a particular area, he's known, his father, mother, they are all Zambians. Just that one reference made me think otherwise. Said that man is not alone. He's, when a blind man tells you he's going to stone you, he just if he had gone to mention another person from another political party, that was going to make me have a balance. But now that he just stood on one person, I smell something.
Within his own party. His own party member.
Yes, he should have mentioned another person from another party.
See, the tribalism has become advanced in the patriotic front. They're now
Yes.
becoming racial. They're becoming
Ah,
tribal. Oh my God!
yeah, yeah. So
Mama, look at this.
the distraction.
Mark is still here. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if he can hear us or maybe he's just left it on and stepped out. Mark, are you there or what? Mark,
Maybe has network issues.
maybe, but it looks very. Anyway, so just to on what you're saying, the
Yes.
Patriotic Front, it has now become very, very, very bad for them because they are now moved from racial to tribal, from tribal to racial within their
To
own
person.
sectors. You know, oh, hey, Rubinda Mulozi.
To personal now.
Eh?
Personal.
It's even personal now. Oh, Mulozi. Oh, how
Uh-huh.
and Musungu.
Uh-huh.
Do you know where
He's
he comes
Scottish.
from? Do you know
He's
where he comes
Scottish.
from? I'm like,
He's Scottish.
don't
Do you
talk about
know,
it.
guys?
Uche
No.
tema na ntema kala difeba mkabwata mulia.
Parentage clause. Parentage. The
Eh.
father is Scottish.
Mhm.
Do you know why Guy Scott he was not allowed to be president when the president was leaving the country?
Because
You
of
know,
that.
because of that.
Mm.
He had come out as the only one. He's bold enough
Mm.
in here to mention it. All this time, whoever was following Luvinda, they were
Mm.
quiet. They knew the truth, but they couldn't say it out. But anyway, he was able to say it in Bemba. And he said it very clearly, you see. In Bemba, why is it so easy to say the truth in Bemba? You mean he didn't know this or this? Our man,
Ah,
that is they're on their self path to destruction.
yeah. I mean, if Davis Mwila himself can simply say, after 2026 there will be no PF, then it's true.
It's true. He
Then
has
it's
seen
true.
the writing is on the
Then it's
wall.
true.
The
PF
writing is
9.
on the wall. He's, you know,
9.
he's speaking from the point of view of numbers. Numbers won't lie. He has seen what kind of defection is going to be there in the run-up to 2026. That alliance which has formed, how many, he has already envisaged how many are going to cross over. There will be a mass crossover. If there will be a shell that will remain in PF,
We joined what
I don't know. A shell.
is joined us late. Dr. Chikonka. Dr. Chikonka. Hello. Chikonka.
As we wait,
Go ahead, Wamacha.
If there will be a shell left in PF, we shall be lucky. A shell, we shall be lucky because there may not even be a shell remaining.
They're all running away and going into different parties, forming all these alliances.
There will just be a void. There will just be a void. Space full of nothing. So PF is time to go to sleep. Yeah, they can go in their sleep mode. After all, it was just what they formed. It was a movement formed to protect the poor.
Yeah.
Yes, that was their thing, to speak for the poor. More money in the pocket. So now maybe the people are no longer poor. They've made us graduate from one level to another, and so their essence is of no value anymore.
We are giving legitimacy to Bamwila. No, that's not what we're doing. Have you heard his question?
It's just that so bad we cannot even be giving the legitimacy.
Konka, is it you? Mark?
Yeah, this is Mark. I lost you for some good, I think close to 10 minutes.
No, it's been more than that, man. We've been calling your name.
Did you hear my conclusion?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, go ahead, man. Let's proceed.
Yeah, so I was saying, where we are right now, As you may be aware, the matter was reintroduced. It was not taken back to Parliament because it's already on the floor of Parliament, the bill. So once as I indicated earlier, the bill has a lifespan of 6 months, which
Yes.
should have, in essence, expired by 25th of this December. So once you reintroduce it before, debates can continue beyond 25th December. Then the danger of not enacting, amending this constitution so that we also deal primarily with the issue of delimitation is that we
Mhm.
shall all violate the constitution, which requires that not beyond 10 years we need to conduct delimitation. And the danger is that once this amendment has gone through, it will only come into effect after 2026.
26. Okay.
If we do not succeed in amending this constitution, it will only come into, and then we amend it after 2026, after the elections. After the elections, we amend, assuming elections pass in September, I mean, in
August.
August, September, then we start the process in December. Even if we start the process in 2027
Mm.
and we succeed, that particular constitution will only come into effect in 2031.
Point.
Do you get
Point.
the point?
Yes.
So now, those are the dangers
Yeah.
because
So it
you
means
cannot
that
apply the
we
law in
would have we would
retrospect.
have lost what 20 years.
Now, those, yes, but then what do you do to the clause which requires that? What do you do to Article 58?
Put
Hmm.
it on the
Because you have
shelf.
violated the constitution. What do you do?
Put it on the shelf.
Who should no, you can't. You should be cited for these are things that's what we call a constitutional crisis, where you are headed for a crisis, where you start now accusing each other of
Mm-hmm.
things. The constitution will have been violated and we'll be looking at each other. So if the constitution is violated, what will be the remedy? So our conclusion is that we need to discuss more of the content so that those colleagues, brothers, and sisters who do not understand are helped,
Mm.
especially in the language that they understand.
They understand
We
better. Yes.
must also think of our mother in Kaputa, who
Mm.
is only selling tomato. They have never seen the Zambian constitution.
Mm.
They don't know what it is. So instead of mostly taking a partisan stance, we must take a legislative stance, understanding that we don't make laws for ourselves or for
Mm.
others. We must make laws for the whole country, knowing
Mm.
that leaders come and go. A law that we shall live by even after we have left office and others have come, will be comfortable to say this is our constitution. That should be our preoccupation. Once we come up with that kind of a document, the idea of us free flopping will come to an end. So, this obviously now is incumbent upon members of parliament for us to seriously introspect and look at exactly what we want to cure in this particular legislative process. It is our prayer that the process will be devoid of unnecessary drama and we shall revert to normal politics, campaigning and telling citizens what we have in store for them. That's our prayer. And lastly, I should also mention that we encourage even people from the diaspora to follow deliberations closely as we are getting into the second stage, which is the most crucial stage. After the technical committee have made presentations, remember the
Mm.
presentations are being made at the technical committee level by the select committee. The select committee level, the technical committee will present their report to the select committee at the select committee level, which obviously started yesterday, and
Yeah.
by Monday, or
Mm.
Monday it should be 12. Going further, we are dealing with the second stage. You know that law legislation in this country, Parliament only goes up to the third stage. Once it goes through the third stage there, which doesn't, the most crucial one is the second stage. And we
Mm.
need 111 members of parliament.
Yeah.
not from opposition or ruling party, but members of
of
parliament.
parliament.
Because we are using a unicameral parliamentary system. It's one house. It is ourselves who have narrowed it down to PF, opposition, and ruling party, but it's one house.
Mhm.
Yeah, so basically that's what I thought I needed to speak to.
Yeah.
And we need to avert those fears that people have. There is
Yeah.
no increase of the tenure of office for the president in Bill 10, in Bill 7.
Bill 7.
There is
Uh-huh.
no increase of tenure of office, eh? Or making the president stay in office for many
Mm.
years
Yeah.
in Bill 7.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the consolation people should have.
And
All those
another
debates
one,
people
Mark.
have,
Another one,
Hold
Mark.
on,
and
Another one, Mark. They are
just before.
saying that because of delimitation, it will only target, the stronghold of the UPND, which is of course Western Province, Southern Province, I mean probably Northwestern Province. That's where it will be more concentrated than
An
any other
addition.
place.
An addition.
now listen.
An
Now,
addition,
uh-huh.
Mark, just before you come in.
Yes.
Mark, when you talk
Uh,
about people getting to know this, this second stage, third stage, we should be thinking wider, including 28 Ichindikeni in Chingola. Why are you forgetting that place? We were neighbors one
no,
time.
you're right. No, you're right. Yes. No, you're right.
There,
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
you know,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
we are talking about Chingola, a constituency. What's the size of
Mm-hmm,
that constituency? Is it big to just need
mm-hmm,
one MP? If we are to delimitate it, cut it into half, resources shared, there would be development. And people there need to understand it. In Bemba, bambi ni bashimaini, tabashi bokuberenga. Just in Bemba, some are lousy. Mark, are there any leaflets showing the concerns of Bill 7, the advantages? Are there any leaflets flying around? Even in markets, you go in market to
I
explain
think it
that
said that
happened.
they have started the radio program in different languages. That's what you said, Mark. Is that what it is?
He's gone.
Mark?
Hello?
Hello? Mark,
Hello,
are you
hello.
there? Yeah. There's a question posed to you, and I think I was trying to say, like, I think you mentioned earlier. Oh, he's dropped out now.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah,
mentioned
I think he mentioned that there are different programs where it's going to be, using different languages
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and try to explain it. He's come back. Let's see. I think he's going to answer that one.
Even a
are you
even a
there?
WhatsApp
Can you
group,
hear me?
Yes, we
even
can
a
hear
WhatsApp
you.
group.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep. Go ahead. I think
Yes,
Ramasho was
yes.
asking
So
your
so
question.
now you must be very careful when you talk about UPND stronghold. Right
Mm.
now, the question you need to ask yourself is which one is UPND stronghold going by the 2021 elections?
That's everywhere.
Because because the opposition
Mm.
neck to neck, they only won in three provinces.
Mm.
But those provinces are potentially not their strongholds anymore. I'll give you an
Anymore.
example.
Mm.
HH won in Northern Province.
Mm. Mm.
So are you going to call Northern Province opposition stronghold?
No.
Because HH got 51%, ECL got 48%.
Mm.
So whose stronghold is that? Now that should explain why we are winning by-elections there.
Mm.
We have penetrated Luapula. So no one should cheat you on strongholds because no one has conducted a survey currently showing
Mm.
that UPND stronghold is this side.
Mm. Mm.
We have the majority votes in Lusaka. What are you going to say? Is it our stronghold? Is
Yeah.
it about 12 constituencies? Yes, we have more MPs in Lusaka.
Okay.
So what will someone say? We have
Maybe we
penetrated Eastern Province. We have penetrated Eastern Province. We are getting MPs there. And watch the space in 2026. You see how many members of parliament we are going to get there. In Luapula, any by-election that has been held there at parliamentary level, we have swept it.
the
Yeah.
reason
So
you have
the
penetrated
issue,
Lusaka, maybe it's because
so
meat,
now,
huh?
this is why I want to say that this has nothing to do with an opinion. It has everything to do with the guidelines under Article 59, which I initially read out. You need to look at the trend, the size of the population, the history. For example, under history, you could say the previous
Yes.
delimitation focused only on the 3 provinces. This delimitation as a trend will move to another province because the population has grown. So all those guidelines are contained in the constitution under Article 59. So it is not guesswork. In other
Yeah.
words, you will not see a constituency that does not have a population that doesn't make sense because the constitution says the population must be reasonable. This
And they're
is why
saying,
the
and,
ECZ,
mm,
this is why the ECZ has to wait until Parliament determines how many seats will be added. That's when now they can publish.
mm, okay.
So
And
it
one
is
other
a weak
argument they're
debate.
saying, they are saying that is it the geography or the population?
Now it is both. In some
Mm,
cases, the geography could be there, but the population is small. That's why when I was reading out, I'm sure you followed closely.
mm,
I had decided to go and read text by text in the Constitution, Article
mm.
59. Those of you with pens, you can read there. The guidelines are already there. So it's not an issue of guesswork or an opinion. It's an issue of taking care of those guidelines that have been prescribed in the Constitution. So we should not be scared of anything because if we have to criticize whichever place will be delimited, we should now focus on those guidelines which are contained in the Constitution. The question will be, does this place qualify
Mhm.
by way of the guidelines under Article 59?
59.
If it does not qualify, our marking key is Article 59. It should not qualify because of strange things like politics. No. Politics are not taken care of by that article.
Mm.
They are remote. It is ourselves who are driving this into politics. In that article, there is no stronghold.
Fantastic.
So, yes. So maybe the last question before I like the submission by Wamacha of I yield. Is it I yield?
Are you?
Yes.
Yes.
Martha, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So
last.
it is the question we can deal with on the content. We want to put this matter to rest on the content
Yes.
so that we can separate lies from facts.
Okay.
So we have explained what was in Bill 10.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We have
Bill
explained
7
what
has
is in
been
Bill.
explained. Bill 10 has been explained. The differences. Bill 7 only
Yes.
had 13 articles. Bill 10 had what, more than 30 articles? You know,
It had 117 amendments. You
so,
download it on the Parliament website. Start counting those ones which are in bold letters.
mhm.
Those are the amendments.
So there's a huge difference. So these
There's a
two
huge
views are not the
difference.
same.
Also, yes, they are not the same. Also, in terms of content.
Yes, you know.
Even
So
in
there's
terms of
nothing to
color.
fear.
Even in
We
terms
have
of color.
demonstrated also, we have also demonstrated that there are different types of democracies. Number one. Number two, we have also demonstrated that there are different ways of constitution making. There is no straight jacket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Mwanawas wanted to use something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Constituent Assembly.
So yeah, I think that being said, I think you've given us enough data. You've given us enough information today. We
Yes.
appreciate that, Mark. Masha Amwami, if you've got any last
On-
words or last question before we let Mark go and close the show.
commercial break for Mark. You know what, Mark? Bill 10 and
Yes,
Bill 7. It's like it red na ka black. So
yes.
the Bill 10 ka black wakalamba. Bill 7 ka red. That's how we go.
On a lighter note.
Yes, on a lighter note. Ka red.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
Ka black. Ka red.
yeah.
And you see,
Thank you.
there are two things. There's light and day.
Mm.
Bill
Yes.
10 had everything to do with night. But
No,
Bill
no, that
7,
one was going to
Bill,
damage the country. How do you, for example, the other thing that I didn't bring out.
Mm.
uh,
The other thing is that they wanted Parliament to allow for a clause
mhm.
where government was going to be borrowing indiscriminately without ratification from the National Assembly.
You know,
Mm.
that's the night part about Bill 10. The daylight part about Bill 7 is accountability, holding people accountable. Even when they're out of office, they'll be followed. You borrowed reckless. Malidia Eurobond.
Of course.
Imagine. Mandy.
Mm. You
Anyway,
know,
it's
yeah,
maybe 7 come as daylight for Zambia.
yeah. I mean, it's a win game. I think we need Bill
Mhm.
7.
Yes.
And everybody that's actually preaching to say we don't need Bill 7 is because probably they haven't read it and they're just following the trends of the opposition and stuff like that. But if
No,
you
not
ask,
only that,
mm,
not only that, our suspicion is that most of them, the fear they have, they believe that Bill 7 will campaign for UPND because of inclusion of women and youths. But you cannot be thinking like that.
well, hey,
And
what
persons
are you
living with
going to do?
disabilities.
But
Yeah,
look,
because
Mark, Mark,
the youth
there,
are the future.
Mark,
there are
Mark,
protocols that came. Yes, yes.
Mark, what's wrong if the youths and women vote for UPND, who they think has done them good, something that they've never enjoyed in their lifetime, has come to work in their lifetime? What's the purpose of governing? If you can govern and deliver the goods and people vote for you, you have the mandate. Does it matter where that mandate comes from? The old men, the youths? Come on, you've
No,
delivered.
not at all. Of
Yes,
course.
you've delivered. The day is
I
yours.
saw a comment. Bachurufi, I saw a comment from Vakazia. What is he saying?
He's saying, oh, he's been putting up a lot of comments. This one, the last one, is saying,
Perhaps we attended to
I
him.
think this one is talking about giving legitimacy. Cleaver Muila. They were wrong on that one. I'd like this one, guys. Stop this conversation. Not put it at Tamakala. Oh, we were talking about Given Luvinda. Because he was on TV. Bamwira himself was on TV
Yeah, I'm
saying
aware of that.
that Given Luvinda Musungu, so he cannot be a PF. So we were just actually laughing between me and Mamacha to say, look, the Patriotic Front's tribalism, it has moved from tribalism, it has become racial, it has become personal now. Like this whole group, they're just different. So we're laughing, and we're not giving legitimacy because what Davis Mwila is what he was saying.
Yeah, just like someone mentioned the other time to say UPND cannot be led by anyone other than a Tonga. These things typical, you see.
Yes.
The
And the
comments
person who and the person who said that even
is it?
defected. He was even in the other
Ah,
party.
come on. He's my neighbor. I know him. Monga, please, please. Truth be
Yeah. So
told.
so now,
Truth be told.
yeah. So
And so that's the thing.
so
So that's what
what
we're
I think.
talking about.
What else are there comments that we can respond to? Bashirufia? Where
So we
I've
got
seen this
this,
one.
we got he's put a lot
Oh,
today.
just before
He
you
was,
go, Mark. Before you go, Mark.
he's talking about now farmers.
No, just a minute, Mark. Before you go, we have those
Mm.
characters of Monga coming to join UPND. How are you handling such people? Do you trust them? Can they be with you at that moment when you critically need them? Are they not spies of some kind?
No, you see, that's why when you're talking about politics, there are no permanent enemies and permanent friends.
Yeah,
And because there are issues of freedom of association, and
eh,
politics is about numbers, we have
human
invited
rights.
them ourselves that they are welcome. Because if you leave numbers unattended
Mm,
to, they
mm.
can work against you by working with those that appreciate them.
How
So
long is your
uh,
spoon when you're eating with them? What kind of spoon are you using? A short one or a long one?
No,
When you're
it
dying,
also depends. It also
no,
depends
no,
because one thing
no.
that you need to understand is that
Eh,
we should not be so scared of interacting with people. The politicians come and go. I'll give you an example of President HH. He lost a
uh-huh.
number of vice presidents, but he remained strong. All of them went for him and condemned him, and everybody thought there was something wrong with President HH himself. Now he's
Mm,
president. So what are you going to say? So
mm,
But he's using
um,
a long spoon now. He's not using a
yeah,
short spoon.
freedom.
A long spoon.
Yeah, you have to be careful. But then there's
Mhm.
freedom of association.
Yes, a human right.
Let people associate themselves in the manner they deem fit. They
Uh-huh.
should not be stopped. Yes.
that Chester. So
What
this
is
one was
important is
the first.
your Zambian
This was
citizens.
the first question, Mark. Mark, this one was the first question. What is the
Mm.
excitement around the 5.2 billion reserve? That was
Hey,
the first question.
a
Now,
reserve.
what it means is that you can have import covers for
Yes.
the next 5 months, huh, without generating anything in the country. You can have just 5 months of import covers. At that
Mhm.
time, when we had gone to almost less than 1 billion US dollars, that was a crisis. In an unlikely event that the country went for war, God
Mm,
forbid, you'd run into a crisis.
mm,
In an unlikely event that there is a serious global crunch and you are stuck, the country cannot generate income, everything has
mm,
collapsed. It's like
mm,
you put money in reserves, you save money. How can a person say, what is the excitement about you saving 10 million US dollars?
As if
That's the question someone is asking.
yeah.
as if not
You have
tomorrow.
saved 10 million in terms of crisis that comes and quenches. The one who doesn't have 10 million US dollars will go out to borrowing, and then they'll
Mhm,
be borrowing, and then they will use government parastatals. Then the
mm,
country is mortgaged. You are gone.
mm.
So having reserves is very important for a country
Very
in
good.
It's
case
more
of a
than
crisis.
it's more than
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
excitement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
So
course,
More than an
we
excitement.
should exactly, and
yeah.
it demonstrates that the economy is growing. That's what it means. Because you cannot save when you don't have surplus.
Yeah. So this one is directed to
We,
you, Mark. What's wrong
It's true.
with being a pastor? You're
no, I was very careful. I carefully used that term not to
mm,
mention pastor alone. I mentioned so
mm,
many fields. I talked
yeah.
about a garden boy. I talked about so many people. Not
Mm,
that they are wrong, but I was trying to demonstrate issues of specialization.
mm,
So, for example, if you have the Minister of Religious Affairs, wouldn't the pastor who was commented be concerned if they brought a minor as a PS, leaving out pastors?
mm,
And that's what we are trying to demonstrate.
mm,
We are saying the culture of specialization along the way was lost. The work of the permanent secretary now has been reduced to monitoring government policies and implementation.
mm,
Where,
mm,
if government projects are not moving well, these are watchdogs now, proper watchdogs. And I agree, specialization is very important, but has not been completely taken away. In all the ministries, their position papers, they don't come from these people. They come from technocrats, directors. They'll
mm,
prepare position papers well thought out. Then these PS will have time now to present to the minister who is a politician, whose qualification into parliament is just a grade 12 certificate. Then that minister is the one who goes to present in parliament, in cabinet. Cabinet later on parliament.
Did you say cabinet, Mark?
Sorry?
Did you say did you say he goes to present to cabinet?
That he goes to present, no, he goes to present to parliament. You get the
No, and
point?
beyond. And beyond,
Yeah,
he can even go to
exactly.
present
Because
to a diplomat from
of
China.
course, so
Uh,
exactly.
to you, United Nations.
What is the qualification? Maybe a certificate in carpentry.
Look, confidence, confidence. Where is the confidence?
No,
okay.
Anyway.
so the point we are trying to raise for the one
Mm,
who felt bad on the comment
Mhm.
is that we have no problem with being a pastor. We mentioned a wide range of professions,
questions.
and what we are saying is others were raising concerns like the vet doctor there, that why would you get another person when there is a qualified vet doctor to be a controlling officer. It's a valid position. But then professionalism has not been completely taken away because technocrats up to directorate level are doing things. But it's also important of a permanent secretary who understand what goes on in a particular ministry so that they are not easily misled and duped by the people that they are supervising. So I agree with you. But these are things that should change over time because a good legal system has ever-changing laws based on the changing societies. So we are guided. So I've seen Bakazia's lamentations there. Maybe the lamentations can be attended to by Chulufia.
Even me, I can attend to them.
Oh, okay. So yeah, well,
Yeah,
he's just simply asking
I
about
think I
farmers
think
why we're not paying them. You know,
he's calling
farmers.
for a matcha.
I think farmers are being paid. You know, he's talking about.
Farmers are being paid contrary to the way it used to be. At that time, farmers would be paid after the rain season in June. That's the time we were debating and said, what will this money be used for? Because the farming season has already come to an end. Today, they are being paid before the farming season. So, or
In fact,
during this period. So the
in
process has
fact,
been going on. Yeah,
in fact, it's good that they are paid now.
Mhm.
Tabaliana
exactly.
mkushishani nenda misho. Tabaliana mkunu
Mhm.
ino wala because the need is there. The rains are
Of
there.
course.
Buy the fertilizer, they'll buy the seed. That money
Correct.
will be produced. You know, these women in the villages suffer very much when these men get that money in June, July. Nishita yako ya mkwangala mtown ija. By the time the rain season comes, no fertilizer was bought, no seed was bought, but now they are paid at a time when the woman who cooks food in the house knows to say, "Kwadi nsala last year we didn't have good harvest because we didn't buy fertilizer." She will influence the buying of the right number of fertilizer bags, the right type of seed. Everything will be done with utmost care because the money is there. June, July, Mwaba for the Shaso. They will go and get married in Lusaka. Basham, they leave the family. I'm speaking from experience. I've seen this happening. They leave the families in the village, go to rent a house in Lusaka. Baya mkwikala na ule kuja. Nenda la mashakoto nisha matawa njoze. Chapwa. Nga chapwa elo bale wela kunganda. So now that this is every cloud has a silver lining. Mark, I hope you understand that one. Every
Yeah.
cloud is a blessing in disguise. Late payment for the right purpose to be used for that money. It's
Yeah.
okay. In fact, would they, if they were to be given money by the briefcase buyers, how much were they going to be paid for? Very little money. But now that they sold the money at the maize at a good price, their money is even worth it.
Even, you know what, I was actually listening to the Minister of Agriculture and the President. Like he actually said it to say, look, there's a budget in which how much FRA can buy in a year, and
Yeah.
then because of that bumper harvest that we had, the president had to make executive decisions to say, even that surplus, even if it's above our budget, buy the rest. Okay. So these are the ones now that are saying, oh, it's the payments are slow now because those are the surplus maize that we have because it was outside the budget. So whatever was budgeted, for this season, farmers have been paid. The
Wachanda,
surplus now.
Wachanda, just a
Mhm.
minute there. Executive decisions. The incumbent talks about buy the surplus maize. Executive decision, right?
Mhm.
And in the previous regime, there were some executive decisions. What executive decisions in the previous regime benefited Zambians? Going to America and to go and dance there? No, no, no. No, 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 no. Mark, tell HH we have a very good president. You convey those words for me. We have a good president. He decides from an informed point of view. Executive decisions, Eurobond, Tien Tushani and Dalamesh. That was an executive decision. You can't run a country like, no, is it a farm or a taxi? No, it's wise people making serious thought. They applied their minds to the interests of the nation. Food security is key. He's thinking of tomorrow. Nikachema uli alikuwa tengombe. If yakulia tuashitefi. Is it just going to be food for people? I have animals. Those animals need feed. Where is
Yeah.
the maize going to come from? Let's buy this excess maize.
Okay. All right,
Can
guys, gentlemen.
Yes.
Mark, Ramacha, let's call it a day. We can go on and on and on and on because there's so much to cover.
There's a
But
mouth.
if you can just be coming periodically, like you come and update us on certain issues, that would
Yeah.
be very helpful for us here in the diaspora. And we appreciate your input today. We appreciate you, Ramacha, for coming in, and
Yeah.
of course,
You
any
don't
last
come in.
words? Any last words?
Any last words? Let's keep the candle burning. There's so much wind blowing, but let the candle be burning. Wind is blowing from all directions, but the candle should be burning. That's all.
Mark?
And then Mark is gone. Is he there?
Oh, no, he's there. He's there.
Okay.
My lamentations over here and the point. Oh, so Mark, Mark, any last words? We have to close the show now. Any last words?
I'll have his last words. I'll
Okay.
say what he should tell us. I want to see leaflets on Facebook in different languages explaining on Bill 7.
Bill
The
7.
advantages. On Facebook, you should point even a WhatsApp group. Let him form where we include I don't know. It's possible for him. Let's use social media. Bill 7, let those contents go on. Let them go awash on social media. People should know. People have bundles. Bambi wale won't have to download the song. You remember what HH said? At you charge a phone so that you can just listen to music. No, let people charge their phones now to read the contents of Bill 7. Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mark, are you there or what?
He's not there.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
Oh,
last words. We need to close the show, Mark. We need to close the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to sincerely thank you, particularly Bachilufia and the rest of the audience. We are proud of you, and don't forget about your home. Please consider investing back home. This is a topic for another day. In any way you find possible, and recruit your fellow Zambians as workers to complement government effort. So the UPND is here to serve members of the public. So far on our score sheet, we've achieved so many things. We found an economy whose GDP was growing at 2.7, negative 2.7. Now we are above 5.8 according to the Bloomberg projections. And we now have this credit rating which has taken center stage with so many foreign investors coming into the country, thereby increasing the tax base to make more money available to sustain free education, cash for work, social cash transfer, credit facilities for farmers. Bumper harvest, which has come in the wake of the drought, has also given us an advantage in terms of the forex that we are realizing from the exports. The president already signed the market access agreements with different countries, so it's up to us now to produce more in different areas. The copper mining sector and also other non-traditional exports are also increasing with more mines opening. We are seeing 2 emerging commercial mines in Muchinga for the first time. You may be aware that there will be also an airport in Inakonde. ZNS is doing an airport. The position of government is to make provincial airports, international airports, so that we can have big planes flying from other countries landing there. So Zambia is getting better by day. An influx of tourists where we have moved from 500,000 tourists in a year in 2021 to over 2.2 million tourists is also a marvel, which has come as a result of the decisions made by government to relax visa conditions, among other cases such as creating a favorable environment for foreign direct investment. So there is a lot more that we are going to discuss in our successive presentations, as shall be arranged by Mr. Chilufia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. And of course, pass the regards to the whole cabinet and the president and everybody else. And
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Masher. We'll continue these conversations. Of course, during our in our groups. You know where you can find ourselves. And have a lovely weekend. Have a
Something
good
we
night.
all
Have a good evening. I don't know what time it is there, but thank you and God bless. See you next time.
But